Hey everyone, welcome back to Criminal Minds Unleashed. Today we're diving into a true crime story that will leave you with more questions than answers. It's a case that has been debated for years. A murder, a conviction, DNA evidence that doesn't add up, and the ultimate price, the death penalty. This is the story of Felicia Lisha Gayle, a former journalist who was brutally murdered in her home, and Marcellus Williams, the man who was executed for the crime. But here's the twist. Some say he was innocent. So let's get into it. And remember, if you enjoy true crime stories that dig deep into the facts and leave no stone unturned, hit that like button and subscribe. Let's go. To understand this case, we first need to talk about Felicia Gayle, or Lisha, as she was known to friends and family. She was a successful journalist, a reporter for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. But by the time of her tragic death in 1998, she had left the fast-paced life of journalism to focus on philanthropy and volunteer work. Felicia was 42 years old, living in a quiet, gated community in University City, Missouri, with her husband, Daniel Pekas. Daniel was a radiologist, and the two had a seemingly perfect life, one that was shattered on August 11, 1998. On that day, while home alone, Felicia was stabbed multiple times with a butcher knife taken from her own kitchen. She was found dead later that day by her husband, having been stabbed 43 times. Yes, 43 times. Police arrived at the crime scene, and it was gruesome. There was plenty of forensic evidence: fingerprints, footprints, hair, and most importantly, DNA on the murder weapon. But despite this, the investigation took a strange turn. The police were under pressure to solve this brutal murder, and in 1999 they received a tip from two individuals who claimed that Marcellus Williams, a man with a criminal record, was the killer. One of the witnesses, Henry Cole, was a fellow inmate. He said Williams had confessed to him in jail. The second witness? Williams' then-girlfriend, Laura Asaro, who said she found items from the crime in Williams' car. Now, we all know how shaky jailhouse confessions can be. There's always a question of motive. Was Cole telling the truth, or was he simply trying to cut a deal for himself? What do you guys think about jailhouse confessions? Are they reliable? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So who was Marcellus Williams? Born in 1968, he had a criminal record, mostly for robbery, and by 1999, he was already serving a sentence for robbing a donut shop. But when the police received those tips, they honed in on him as the prime suspect in Felicia Gayle's murder. There was no physical evidence tying him to the scene, no fingerprints, no footprints, and most critically, no DNA match on the murder weapon. But the testimonies from Cole and Asaro were enough for the prosecution to build their case. In 2001, Marcellus Williams was convicted of Felicia Gayle's murder. The jury heard from 22 witnesses, but Williams never took the stand in his own defense. He was sentenced to death, and that's when the real controversy began. Fast forward to 2015. DNA testing technology had advanced, and Williams's legal team requested that the DNA on the murder weapon be retested. The results? The DNA did not match Williams. In fact, the DNA belonged to an unidentified male. Now, you would think this would be a game changer, right? New DNA evidence that contradicts the state's case should be enough to stop everything. But no. Missouri prosecutors continued to push for Williams's execution. They argued that despite the DNA not matching, there was enough circumstantial evidence to uphold his conviction. In 2017, Marcellus Williams was just hours away from being executed when Missouri Governor Eric Greitens issued a stay of execution. He ordered a board of inquiry to look into the case further. This was a big moment, because now the focus was on whether Williams was innocent. If DNA evidence doesn't match, should the death penalty still be on the table? Let me know in the comments below. The fight to save Marcellus Williams gained national attention. Advocacy groups like the Innocence Project stepped in, arguing that the new DNA evidence clearly pointed to his innocence. Even Felicia Gayle's own family stated that they did not want Williams to be executed. Despite this, the legal battle raged on. In 2023, Missouri Governor Mike Parson lifted the stay on Williams's execution, stating it was time for the courts to decide. But here's the thing. The courts were still refusing to consider the new DNA evidence. In January 2024, Wesley Bell, the St. Louis County prosecuting attorney, filed a motion asking the courts to vacate Williams' death sentence. His reasoning? Possible ineffective assistance of counsel, racial bias in jury selection, and, most importantly, the DNA evidence that didn't match. Here's where things take an even darker turn. On September 24, 2024, despite the ongoing legal battle, Marcellus Williams was executed by lethal injection. His final words? All praise be to Allah in every situation. He had maintained his innocence for over 20 years, and even in his final moments he stood by his claim. Think about that. A man was put to death despite DNA evidence suggesting he didn't commit the crime. Despite his family, the victim's family, and advocates fighting for him. Despite everything, the state of Missouri went ahead with the execution. So where does that leave us? This case raises so many questions about the death penalty, our justice system, and how evidence is handled in court. Was Marcellus Williams an innocent man? Did the state execute someone who didn't commit the crime? We may never know for sure, but this case will continue to be debated for years to come. What do you think? Was justice served, or was this a tragic miscarriage of justice? Let's talk about it in the comments. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video and want more deep dives into true crime cases, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.